And hello YouTube, this is Thomas Judge back once again, and this is a new thing that I'm trying to do more weekly, more regular videos, slightly impromptu, slightly less polished, but just showing you what I'm up to in the world of comics, because I am still very much trying to be involved in comics and still trying to produce content. So on that note, I'm going to do a video today on the New 52. I'm aware I'm kind of known as a New 52 guy. I'm not really the New 52 guy, but that's what everyone likes to refer to me as or thinks is my main thing. And so I thought, why not? I'll do something about the New 52 I've not mentioned before and is probably kind of interesting. Specifically, I want to talk about this character, Pandora. So Pandora is in the New 52. She actually has her own series later on called Trinity of Sin Pandora. But the important thing about Pandora is that she's a brand new DC character that was created in 2011 and was actually first shown and instrumental in the very final event of Flashpoint. So this image is from Flashpoint issue 5. And this is the big final denouement of Flashpoint. This is the event in which all the DC universes, Wildstorm, Earth 1, Earth 2, all the various bits and pieces, all kind of combined and created the New 52 universe. And here in the middle, you can see Pandora with the glowing eyes. And this is the first time we ever see her, but it's not the last time we ever see her. The reason it's not the last time we ever see her is because DC editorial at the time decided that what they wanted to do was to have Pandora cameo in the first issue of every single series of the New 52 when that launched in September 2011. And so as a result, she's actually cameoed in every single issue, and if you blink, you miss it. Now I thought what might be quite interesting would be just to show you all the different cameos in case you're curious. I'm not oblivious to the fact the internet exists, and if you go into Reddit and you look at various threads, there are lists of that. And in fact, the most comprehensive one I could find was actually this one from the Comics Alliance. So with the Comics Alliance, I'll just zoom down here so you can see the, there you are, that's the URL at the top there. But basically this is someone from this website, the Comics Alliance, who has put something together basically talking about all the different cameo appearances of Pandora, where they happen, etc, etc. Now what I'll point out is that this author has found 53 cameos from her. There are more than 53 cameos in total. There are in fact 56, I believe. So because of that, because this list isn't exhaustive and isn't correct, I thought I may as well do one. So with no further ado, this is the definitive DC New 52 Where's Waldo edition, Find Pandora. Alright, we're going to start off with All Star Western issue 1. On this page, Pandora can be found here, right there in the center. All right. Next, Animal Man. We're doing this in alphabetical order, by the way. Pandora can be found here, peeking out just over there. Continuing alphabetically, we have Aquaman. Issue 1, Pandora can be found in the diner, just tucked here to the right hand side of this panel in the middle there. Moving on to the B's, we're on to Batgirl, and in Batgirl issue 1, in this image, believe it or not, Pandora is reflected in front of one of the buildings that's reflected in the glass of this particular scene. This is Batman by Scott Snyder, and Pandora is actually on the first panel of the first page. Here she is, warming herself by sort of a fire dumpster thing. Moving on to Batman The Dark Knight by the Finchers. If you look right at the top here, there she is underneath Arkham Asylum, just standing by the doorway there. Moving on to Batman and Robin by Tomasi and Gleason. You can see her right here in the swimming pool, or near the swimming pool, just by the side. Batman Incorporated. She's up here at the top by the arcade unit, just on the right hand side there. Batwing, which I'm a big fan of, right at the top, it's behind the police car. If you zoom in, there she is right there. Batwoman. If you look right in the top right hand corner of this splash page, there she is, just tucked in there. Look at Birds of Prey. This one's relatively obvious. She's there in the middle, just in this doorway right here. If we move to the series Black Hawks, she's pretty obvious. She's right there at the bottom of the middle. Moving on to Blue Beetle, we can see her just tucked in this little alleyway on the left of the bottom hand side of the page. Oh, there she is. If we're looking at Captain Atom, then we can see her right here at the bottom. There we have her, just in the bottom left corner. If we're looking at Catwoman, here she is in the club, just in the top left there. DC Universe Presents, right in the middle of the crowd here. There she is, Pandora. Deathstroke, issue 1, she is here, right in the middle of the page on the left. You can see her just tucked there behind that building. On to Demon Knights. This one's really obvious. She is right in the middle of, there she is, of that splash page of Demon Knights. Moving on to Detective Comics, we can see her here, right at the bottom left of this page. Now this one's quite a tricky one. In Dial H in issue 1, I believe this is her on the right hand side with the hood and the swirly hood and the buttons. This is her, but she's not the same purple colour she normally is. But I'm pretty certain this is her. There's nowhere else in the issue I can see her at all. Frankenstein, issue 1, you got this big double splash page and she is right here. GI Combat, she's at the top, just tucked here next to a lamppost, at the left. In Green Arrow, she's in the club, just behind Green Arrow, right there. Quite an obvious one, this. Green Lantern, issue 1, there she is in the crowd, in the background, just on the left there, you can see it. In Green Lantern New Guardians, at the top here, you can see her just tucked in here, looking all glowy and sinister. Green Lantern Corps, we can see her here, just walking past the middle of this panel in the middle. Grifter, issue 1, randomly she's floating around in the background behind his head, which is just really strange. Hawk and Dove, issue 1, if you go right to the top, she is there just by the corner of this scene with the people with the newspapers over their heads. This is I, Vampire, I believe, and right at the top, there you can see her just hiding behind a tree. Oh, there we are, hiding behind a tree right there. Justice League, amazing series. There she is in the middle on the right hand side on the bleachers watching a game of football. Justice League Dark, she is hiding behind a barn right here. Justice League International, there she is in the crowd. Whilst Booster is talking, she's there in the background. Legion Lost, a series I definitely didn't like, and here it is, she's at the top in the background during this scene. Legion of Superheroes, again at the top in the background, top left corner there. Men of War, if you look to the bottom there, you can see her on the right, just by the Jeep. Mr. Terrific, here she is on the right in that middle panel there. You can just see her to the right of the guy in the yellow shirt. Nightwing, she's in the big top here on the right, again, as you can see. In OMAC, she's just here. You can see at the bottom left, just in that image there. Red Hood and the Outlaws, this is a really tricky one. She's actually there, right at the top. You can tell the distinctive jacket, the distinctive hood, and the buttons. She's just hidden here behind this trailer. That one is really hard to spot. Red Lantern, she's at the top, just lurking around behind a building. Resurrection Man is painfully obvious here, just in front of this tree, not seen before or since in the issue, just this one very blatant cameo. Static Shock, she is in the window, this top panel here. Stormwatch to the left here, just lurking in this alleyway. Suicide Squad, issue 1, literally a couple of pages in, she's there on the right in the opening scene. Superboy has her at the top here on the right hand side. Again, distinctive jacket, you can tell that's definitely her. Right there on the right. Supergirl, she's hiding behind this giant robot leg, but there she is. Superman in the crowd on the right hand side, right there, just lurking above all these people with their tables. Superman Action Comics has her on a tube. You can see there, distinctive hood with a little swirly pattern and the facial tattoos. There she is. Swamp Thing, just lurking behind a car here on the left. Teen Titans, she's in the background of the woods here. In the Flash, she's in the crowd. So you've got her just lurking in the background here. Fury Firestorm, as far as I can tell, this is her just floating at the top of this this explosion. She's just standing on top of this building. Again, kind of a blatant and jarring one. I think if I was reading this and didn't know who she was, I'd be quite confused. The Ravagers, a lot of people don't realise the Ravagers has a cameo. There she is at the bottom on the right. You can just see her there. Savage Hawkman, this could not be more blatant. There she is. Again, that must be really jarring if you're reading it, you have no idea who she is. She has no bearing on the story at all in any of these issues, so it is strange. This is Voodoo, issue 1. And there she is in an alleyway, just lurking in the background on the right. Wonder Woman, this one was really tricky to spot. In this cornfield, she's there on the right hand side, just hiding behind some corn. Really hard to spot. And World's Finest, which is kind of the Lost Daughters of Earth, you know, Lost Daughters of Krypton, all that sort of stuff. Where is she? I think she is... Oh, there she is. Right in the middle, you can see her there. Alright. It's worth pointing out that this particular issue you're looking at here, Earth 2, issue 1 of this did not have Pandora in it. And even though Pandora was planned to be in it, they removed her from this at the last minute. Because Earth 2 is set in an alternate universe, so it's not set in the DC New 52. However, that's what DC thought at the time, but as is often the case, DC was wrong. And Thomas Judge was right. Now, if you know anything about my New 52 guide, the Earth 2 map is a sub-map of the New 52 map and does end up intersecting with it. There's a couple of important things to keep in mind. Earth 2 does eventually intersect with the main continuity. And also there's a couple of issues we've already looked at which are in the Earth 2 continuity. The last one we just looked at, which was World's Finest, is actually within Earth 2's continuity. And Mr. Terrific is also in the Earth 2 continuity. They did have Pandora cameos, but I think that's because DC editorial really hadn't decided where those series fitted in. It's another reason to always remember there is no perfect reading order. There is no perfect superarching plan. All you can do is put together a guide and kind of understand the relationships between these various series. So in this case, what we're looking at, Earth 2 does not have a cameo. One thing I will point out as well, and I'll probably cover this next week if I get a chance, is that when the New 52 was released, it wasn't actually released all in one massive hit and was carried on from that. It was actually released in what DC referred to as 10 different waves. And all the issues that we've looked at now, which by no means are all the #1 issues across the 5-year DC New 52 era, But all the ones we've looked at are all the issues that comprised Wave 1, which was the biggest wave, and Wave 2. There are 8 subsequent waves, as DC calls them, with lots of other series in there with their issue 1s, but they weren't part of this editorial diktat to have Pandora in the first issue, cameoing somewhere in every single issue. Anyway, I hope that was interesting, if nothing else. I don't think it was really especially useful, probably a bit late in the day, but like I say, there's nowhere else on the internet that has all of these, that has all this information. Even the best guides I found have been lacking 2 or 3 of the issues, and so I just thought I'd do a comprehensive thing of the whole set of Pandora appearances. And there is actually a reason why I'm doing this, and I might discuss that in a couple of weeks' time. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I can keep some momentum on the channel. I always appreciate feedback, comments and questions. And until the next time, to my dear human viewers, stay classy.